Have you ever stopped to think about how you are going through life? I'm not just talking about the way you put one foot in front of the other, but how you face challenges, opportunities, and even competition around you. Most people live in fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of being judged, fear of not being good enough. And this fear paralyzes. But what if I told you that the secret to standing out is not beating others, but walking as if you had no rivals? Yes, this idea may seem counterintuitive, but Brian Tracy teaches that true strength lies in adopting a mindset that exudes confidence, purpose, and excellence. The big controversy is that the majority believes that to win, you have to crush the competition. But the game of life isn't about who you overcome, it's about who you become. When you stop comparing yourself and start walking like someone who is already worthy of success, something magical happens. Doors open, opportunities appear, and most importantly, you finally realize that the only real rival you need to overcome is the version of yourself from yesterday. This shift in mindset not only transforms the way you act, but also elevates your perception of yourself and your potential. Life is full of choices. You can walk around with your head down, trapped in your insecurities, or you can decide that today will be the day that everything changes. A day when you will put aside comparisons and adopt the mindset of someone who has already won. This speech is an invitation for you to abandon toxic competition and discover how to walk with purpose, focus, and unshakable confidence. Ready to take that first step? Imagine yourself walking into a room, head held high, with an unshakable confidence that you exude with every movement. This feeling begins within you, when you choose to replace the defeat mentality with a deep belief in your ability. Brian Tracy teaches that it all starts with a thought, that small moment when you decide that you will accept nothing less than excellence. After all, no one is born a winner, but everyone can become one. Want a practical example? Start the day by telling yourself, "Today I am better than I was yesterday, and I will be even better tomorrow." It sounds simple, but these types of statements are powerful fuel for shaping your worldview. Changing your mindset is like adjusting the lens through which you see life. If you look at yourself as someone destined for failure, that's exactly what you'll see. However, as you begin to see yourself as a successful person, previously invisible opportunities begin to emerge. Think about high-performance athletes. Before winning gold, they imagine themselves on top of the podium countless times. Michael Phelps, for example, visualized each victory before even entering the pool. Why not adopt this strategy for your life? Before a challenge, visualize success. Feel it and act as if it were already yours. This shift in perspective takes constant practice, but the results can be surprising. Often, people sabotage their own journey by doubting themselves or believing that success is the privilege of a few. This is a lie. Brian Tracy often says that everyone has the ability to become extraordinary as long as they are willing to change the way they think. Replace "I can't" with "How can I do it?" and watch the magic happen. An example? Let's say you want to learn a new language, but you think it's difficult. Try thinking, "What small actions can I do today to get started?" Applications like Duolingo, YouTube videos, or even basic books can be your initial tools. Adopting a winning mindset does not mean ignoring challenges, but rather facing them with the confidence that you are capable of overcoming them. Remember that even the toughest diamonds are formed under pressure. When a difficulty arises, see it as a chance to grow, not as an insurmountable barrier. A salesperson, for example, may see a customer's rejection as the end of the line, or as an opportunity to improve their approach. Always choose the second option, as that is where the learning lies. Sometimes, to change your mindset, you need to change your environment. If you are surrounded by people who only see problems and feed negativity, it may be time to seek new company. Surrounding yourself with individuals with positive thoughts and clear goals can be transformative. Brian Tracy often highlights the importance of learning from those who have already gotten to where you want to be. This means reading books, listening to lectures, or even seeking out mentors who inspire and elevate your level of thinking. It is also essential to remember that self-confidence is built with small daily victories. Start by setting achievable goals, and when you meet them, celebrate your progress. If you want to improve your health, for example, you don't need to start with intense 2-hour workouts. A simple habit of walking 15 minutes a day is a step in the right direction. When you realize the positive impact of these small achievements, your mind will open to even bigger goals. This journey to adopting a winning mindset is ongoing and deeply transformative. Every thought you choose to entertain, every decision made with confidence, and every step taken towards your goals are like seeds planted in fertile soil. And like any cultivation, it requires patience, dedication, and resilience. But as you progress, you'll discover that a winning mindset is the foundation for pushing boundaries, inspiring others, and preparing for the challenges that lie ahead. After all, the next step is to understand how stories of overcoming can fuel your motivation and show that the impossible is just a matter of perspective. Working a seemingly simple job can often be underestimated by outsiders. But it is in dedication and pride in work that many find the door to great achievements. Imagine a janitor who starts his day at 5 a.m., cleaning offices that would soon be filled by people in high positions. He could easily think, "That's all I'll be in life." But instead, he decided to do each task with excellence, believing that if he did his best, something greater awaited him. This janitor saw the floor he cleaned as a stage for his growth, and this simple mindset adjustment changed his trajectory. One day, while he was carrying out his work with care and attention, one of the company's managers noticed his dedication and offered him an opportunity to learn about management. In a short time, he went from cleaning employee to team supervisor. Inspired by this promotion, he continued to study and seek more knowledge. Brian Tracy always emphasizes that success is rarely a fluke. It is the result of constant effort and clear vision. This story is a living example that even the most modest paths can lead to great achievements when followed with determination. This type of overcoming is not exclusive to a single person. Everyone has within them the potential to transform their reality. Maybe what you need is just to see your current situation differently. Take a sheet of paper and write, "What can I do today to improve my condition?" Small steps, like learning a new skill or offering extra help at work, can trigger significant changes. As the janitor in the story said, "Every floor I clean is an opportunity to prove myself." Stories of overcoming challenges teach us that pride in what we do is one of the greatest motivators for growth. How many times have you looked at your work as something routine without realizing that it can be a platform for something bigger? A modern example of this is the story of Howard Schultz, former CEO of Starbucks, who came from a humble childhood but saw hard work as a chance to create something extraordinary. He is proof that origin does not define destiny, but attitude towards life does. Another important point is resilience. Not every day will be easy, and that's normal. The secret is to continue even when conditions are not favorable. Remember that every obstacle faced and overcome strengthens your abilities and shapes your character. Imagine the janitor in the story. He faced prejudiced looks, physical fatigue, and perhaps even internal doubts. But he chose to see all of this as learning and not as a reason to give up. You can do the same. And when you start to reap the rewards of all that effort, something incredible happens. Your story starts to inspire others. Imagine the impact of someone who, once underestimated, is now a model of overcoming. Have you ever thought that by pursuing your dreams with determination, you could be paving the way for other people to believe that it is also possible? It's like a positive current that multiplies. These stories are a powerful reminder that no one is limited to where they started. No matter what your reality is now, there's always a way to go beyond. The next big change in your life could be hidden in today's struggle, just as the janitor in our story found the path to becoming an entrepreneur. And speaking of effort, in the next step of this journey, we will see how continuous work is the key to not only achieving, but maintaining success. Success is not a destination. It is an ongoing process, a journey that requires constant dedication. Many people believe that when they achieve a great achievement, they can simply relax and enjoy what they have built. But the truth, as Brian Tracy says, is that being the best is not enough. You have to keep working to stay on top. Think of a musician who reaches #1 on the charts. If he doesn't continue composing, innovating, and practicing, he will soon be forgotten. Continuous effort is what separates those who achieve success from those who maintain it. This daily effort may seem exhausting to some, but it is actually the only way to ensure sustainable growth. It's like going to the gym. If you stop training after achieving a desired physique, the results disappear. The same happens in professional and personal life. Great athletes like Cristiano Ronaldo or Serena Williams are perfect examples. They have already achieved everything that many dream of, but they continue to dedicate themselves as if they were just starting out. This is because they understand that success is not static. He needs to be fed every day. A common mistake that many make is to rest on the laurels of past achievements. Maybe you closed a big deal, received a promotion, or even fulfilled a personal dream. But what now? What comes next? This is the question that defines who will continue to grow and who will be left behind. A practical example is that of professionals who reach a leadership position and, instead of being complacent, invest in specialization courses, such as MBAs, or seek to improve their interpersonal skills. The lesson is clear: learning should never stop. This is where the growth mindset comes into play. If you see each achievement as a new foundation, not the top of the mountain, you will find the continued effort becomes more natural. The idea is not just to work more, but to work better, be strategic, and always look for ways to improve. Small daily changes, like dedicating 30 minutes to reading a book relevant to your field, can make a huge difference. If you don't know where to start, how about a classic like Financial Psychology by Morgan Housel or Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker? Another crucial point is resilience in the face of challenges. After all, continuous effort doesn't mean you'll always be motivated. It's natural to have days when energy seems to be lacking, but it's exactly in these moments that discipline comes into play. Brian Tracy often mentions that the most successful people do not rely on motivation, but rather on consistent habits. So if you want to make progress, create a routine that keeps you on track, even when enthusiasm is at an all-time low. Furthermore, continuous effort sets a powerful example for those around you. When you commit to your growth, you inspire others to do the same. Whether at work or at home, your dedication can become a catalyst for positive change. Imagine what impact it would have on your team if everyone adopted the habit of seeking constant improvements. It's like creating a virtuous cycle, where the effort of one person motivates the effort of everyone. The journey of continuous effort is undoubtedly challenging, but it is also incredibly rewarding. When you look back, you will realize how much you have evolved and how much you can still achieve. After all, what would success be if it weren't for the constant desire to expand limits and reach new horizons? And it is exactly in this spirit that we will explore the next point: the importance of attitude. Attitude is everything. It's not just a motivational cliche, but a practical truth that shapes the way we approach life. While some see themselves as victims of circumstances, others see challenges as opportunities for growth. Brian Tracy reinforces that how you choose to react to the events around you determines not only what you achieve, but who you become. It's like that old story of the glass being half full or half empty. The difference is not in the water, but in the perspective. The attitude you adopt is what separates ordinary people from extraordinary ones. Think about nature. The lion, even though it is not the fastest or strongest, is considered the king of the jungle. And why? Because your attitude is unbeatable. He acts as if he already knows he was born to lead. The same goes for the eagle, which flies above storms while other birds seek shelter. This confidence is not arrogance, but an internal certainty that your potential is unique. Imagine if you faced your projects, relationships, and even your difficulties with this same attitude. What doors could open? In the real world, examples of this are everywhere. Think about entrepreneurs who start with next to nothing but carry an attitude that says, "I can do it no matter the circumstances." Steve Jobs, for example, was fired from his own company, Apple, but he used this defeat as a springboard to create something even bigger until he returned to the company he founded. He didn't let circumstances define his story. Instead, he chose the attitude of resilience and innovation. Having the right attitude does not mean ignoring challenges, but facing them with courage. Imagine you're going through a difficult situation at work. The first reaction may be to complain, blame others, or give up. But what would happen if you took a problem-solving stance instead? Try saying to yourself, what's the solution to this, and how can I contribute? This not only changes how others see you, but also strengthens your confidence in your own abilities. A good attitude is also contagious. In the workplace, for example, a leader who remains calm in crisis situations inspires his team to do the same. People with a positive mindset attract opportunities and connections, while those who complain end up avoiding the same opportunities they so desire. Want a simple exercise? Start by being grateful for 3 good things that happen in your day, even if they are small. This habit of gratitude has the power to transform your worldview. Adopting a winning attitude also means being willing to learn, even when things don't go as planned. Every mistake, every stumble, is a lesson in disguise, waiting to be absorbed. It's like Brian Tracy says, failure is not the opposite of success, but an essential part of the process. So the next time something doesn't go right, instead of blaming yourself, ask, what does this have to teach me? This simple change in approach can turn what seems like a defeat into a stepping stone to the next level. Attitude is, in essence, the foundation on which we build our dreams. It propels us forward, helps us face the unexpected, and sets us up for success. But even with the best of attitudes, stumbles are inevitable. And that's exactly where the next point comes into play: how failures can be the best stepping stones to success. Failure. Just hearing that word sends a shiver down their spine. After all, no one likes to make mistakes, right? But here's the real truth. Failure is not the end of the line, but a necessary stepping stone on the path to success. Brian Tracy often reminds us that the greatest winners are not those who never fail, but those who learn from each stumble. Think of a baby learning to walk. He falls dozens, maybe hundreds of times, but he never gives up. Why? Because he does not see failure as an obstacle, but as a natural part of the learning process. The same principle applies to adulthood. Many of the most recognized names in the world today faced monumental failures before achieving success. Thomas Edison, for example, made more than 1,000 attempts before inventing the electric light bulb. When asked about his failures, he replied, "I haven't failed 1,000 times. I've discovered 1,000 ways that don't work." This change in perspective is fundamental. Error, when seen as feedback, is a valuable tool for us to adjust our path and continue moving forward. If you look at your own life, you'll probably find times when failure was the starting point for something better. Maybe it was the job interview that didn't go well, but that led to an even better job. Or that relationship that ended, but made space for someone who really values you. All you need is to reprogram your mindset to see the hidden learning in each situation. Try writing in a notebook, what can I learn from this? Every time a challenge arises, this simple question can turn the pain of failure into fuel for your growth. Failures also have the power to make us more resilient. Think about high-performance athletes. They lose games, suffer injuries, face criticism, but they use each of these experiences as motivation to come back stronger. Michael Jordan, considered one of the greatest basketball players in history, did not make his school's team in the first attempt. Instead of giving up, he trained relentlessly until he became a legend. What if he had accepted the rejection as a sign that he wasn't good enough? The world would have lost its genius. This is why failure should never be seen as a final sentence. An important aspect is to understand that the fear of failure can be as harmful as the failure itself. Many people avoid trying new things for fear of making mistakes, but this only keeps them stagnant. The next time the fear of failure arises, ask yourself, what's worse, failing or never trying? Brian Tracy highlights that personal growth is directly linked to our ability to leave our comfort zone and face the unknown. If this seems daunting, start small. Sign up for a class, try a new hobby, or start a difficult conversation. Every little risk you take strengthens your courage. Plus, sharing your failure stories can be liberating and inspiring for others. When you admit that not everything has been easy, you create a genuine connection with others. Great leaders like Oprah Winfrey don't hide their difficulties. Rather, they share their downfalls and how they overcame them. This not only humanizes the journey, but also shows that failure is universal and, above all, surmountable. Your story could be the spark someone needs to keep trying. Failures are actually like rungs on a ladder. Each one brings you a little closer to the top. And when you look back, you will realize that each stumble was essential to building the person you are today. However, learning from failure is not enough. You need to act in a practical and confident way, setting high standards and surrounding yourself with excellence. This is what we will explore in the next point. Acting with confidence, setting high standards, and surrounding yourself with excellence are not just motivational cliches, but practical strategies that can transform your life. Brian Tracy often highlights that success begins with the decision to commit to the best. And what does this mean in practice? It's looking at everything you do, down to the smallest details, and asking, does this reflect the best I can offer? It could be as simple as writing a clear, professional email, or as grand as leading a team with integrity and vision. Small actions done with excellence build big results. Setting high standards is a commitment you make to yourself. It's not about perfectionism, but about continually striving for excellence. A practical example is redefining your goals. If you're used to thinking small, raise your expectations. Let's say you want to save money. Instead of setting a generic goal, like I want to save, set a specific number and a deadline like, I'm going to save $10,000 in 1 year. This kind of clarity not only makes your goal more tangible, but it also creates healthy pressure to take action. Surrounding yourself with excellence means being attentive to the people and information you consume daily. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Do they inspire or demotivate you? If the answer is no, it may be time to reevaluate your connections. Brian Tracy suggests looking for people who are already where you want to be, whether in your personal or professional life. This could mean participating in events, networking groups, or even starting with something simple like listening to podcasts or reading books by big names. If you're looking for inspiration, how about starting with Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? Furthermore, acting with confidence is not just about appearing confident, but about making decisions and facing challenges firmly, even if internally you still feel doubt. Trust is built from action. A practical example? If you're afraid of public speaking, start with something small like practicing a speech in front of friends or colleagues. Every small victory will strengthen your self-confidence. And remember, no one was born with innate confidence. All the great leaders you admire started somewhere. Another practical tip is to invest in integrity. Doing the right thing, even when no one is looking, creates a solid reputation that attracts opportunities and trust. Imagine a professional who always keeps his promises, delivers his projects on time, and treats everyone with respect. He becomes not only admired but sought after to lead and collaborate. If you want a starting point, do a self-assessment. In which area of your life could you be more consistent and honest with yourself? It is also essential to set aside time for reflection and learning. It is not enough to act. It is necessary to review what has been done and adjust the course. Dedicate a moment each week to analyze your achievements, mistakes, and what can be improved. You can use simple tools like a journal or planning app. Ask yourself, what did I do well this week? What could I have done better? Where can I improve? This practice will help you grow more consciously and strategically. Finally, remember that applying practical tips is a process, not a race. Every step you take, no matter how small it may seem, contributes to progress. And when you start to see the results of these actions, you'll realize that true excellence lies in consistency, not occasional big leaps. But even when seeking this excellence, it is important to maintain an essential characteristic: humility, which is the theme of the next point. Humility is one of those qualities that is often misunderstood. Some people believe that being humble means putting yourself down, but this is far from the truth. Being humble is recognizing that although you have skills and achievements, there is still always something to learn, something to improve, and something to share. Brian Tracy highlights that humility is one of the pillars of true growth, as it opens up space for you to absorb new knowledge and build genuine connections. And in today's world, where arrogance is often confused with confidence, cultivating humility may be what sets you apart. One of the greatest signs of humility is being willing to listen. How many times have you entered a conversation thinking more about what you wanted to say than actually listening to what the other person had to share? A practical example of humility in action is simply asking, "What do you think of this?" and listen carefully. Great leaders like Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, are known for their ability to listen before speaking. This practice not only enriches your perspectives, but also strengthens your relationships. Cultivating humility also means accepting feedback constructively. It's easy to feel defensive when someone points out a mistake or suggests improvements, but humility allows you to see it as an opportunity for growth rather than a personal criticism. Imagine a writer who receives comments about how to improve his work. Instead of being offended, he uses the suggestions to refine his work, making it even better. And you? Are you open to listening to advice from those around you? Another aspect of humility is recognizing that no one achieves anything alone. No matter how brilliant you are, there will always be people who help pave your path, be it a teacher, a colleague, or even your family. Practice the habit of giving thanks. It can be with words, an email, or even a simple message. Something like, "I really appreciate what you've done for me," has the power to strengthen bonds and demonstrate that you value the contributions of others. Humility also keeps you grounded in moments of success. When you achieve something great, it's tempting to let your ego take over, but this can be dangerous. Great figures like Nelson Mandela show us that, even in the face of the greatest achievements, it is possible to remain grounded. Mandela, after being released from prison and becoming president, did not place himself above others. He worked to unite a country, showing that true greatness comes from humility. A simple practice to cultivate humility is to list something you learned from someone else every day. This will help you realize that the world around you is full of valuable lessons. It could be something small, like an organization tip, or something big, like a new way of dealing with challenges. The more you recognize the value that others bring to your life, the more humble and accepting you will become. Ultimately, humility is not just about how you see the world, but also about how you see yourself. It's knowing that, even with all your flaws and limitations, you are worthy of respect, just like others. When you combine this balanced view of yourself with a genuine desire to grow and learn, you realize that humility is one of the keys to unlocking your full potential. But even with this solid foundation, there is still something that can hold you back: fear. And that's what we'll talk about next. Fear is a universal emotion. It is present in all of us, whether in the form of butterflies in the stomach before a presentation or a paralyzing block when faced with an important decision. But as Brian Tracy wisely observes, fear should not be seen as an enemy. It is, in fact, a sign that we are leaving our comfort zone. And outside of it is where real growth happens. Facing fear, rather than avoiding it, is a skill that can transform your life. After all, everything you really want is on the other side of that invisible wall. Fear is often fueled by the unknown. Think about the last time you had to face something new: a job, a move, or even a difficult conversation. What scared him was not the event itself, but the uncertainty about what could happen. The solution? Preparation. Imagine that you are afraid of speaking in public. Instead of avoiding introductions, how about starting small? Practice in front of a mirror, then in front of friends, and gradually increase your exposure. The secret is to make the unknown familiar, reducing the power of fear over you. Another way to face fear is to use it as fuel. Remember that fear is energy. Instead of letting it paralyze you, channel it into positive actions. Many entrepreneurs report that the fear of failure is what motivated them to try even harder. Take the example of Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon. When you decided to leave a stable job to start an online business, you were scared, of course. But instead of retreating, he used it to boost his resolve. Ask yourself, how can I turn this fear into a reason to act, not give up? Facing fear also requires you to challenge your own thoughts. Often, what you fear never happens. How many nights have you wasted worrying about something that, in the end, wasn't as big as it seemed? A useful exercise is the following. Write down on paper what you fear most, and then respond with questions like, what is the worst-case scenario? And if that happens, what can I do? This practice helps to put fear into perspective and find solutions before the problem even arises. It is worth remembering that facing fear does not mean eliminating it completely. Even the most successful people feel fear, but the difference is that they act in spite of it. Brian Tracy emphasizes that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to move forward even when fear is present. It's like a muscle. The more you face what scares you, the stronger and more confident you become. Think of a climber who, even though he fears heights, climbs mountains because he knows that the view from the top will be worth every effort. Furthermore, fear is a great teacher. It shows us where our insecurities are and what we still need to work on. If you are afraid of failing, perhaps you need to build more self-confidence. If you are afraid of change, it may be a sign that you need to develop resilience. Every fear we face offers us the chance to grow, to become a stronger version of ourselves. Overcoming fear is a journey, not a destination. Every small step you take toward what scares you is a victory worth celebrating. And as you face your fears, something incredible happens. You become an inspiration to others. After all, people who live courageously not only change their own lives, but also positively influence those around them. And that is exactly what we will see in the next point: the positive impact of living a life with purpose and excellence. Living with purpose and excellence is not just an individual choice. It's a way to create a lasting impact on the people around you. When you decide to be the best version of yourself, you inevitably inspire others to do the same. Brian Tracy often states that leadership begins by example, and that is exactly what living with purpose represents. Imagine entering an environment where your energy, determination, and values are so strong that they motivate others to raise their standards. It's not about being perfect, but about being consistent in your efforts to make a positive impact. A simple example of this can be seen in everyday life. Think about that coworker who always has a word of encouragement, solves problems with a positive attitude, and is willing to help others grow. This person does not need to say that they are a leader. Your posture speaks for itself. Living with purpose means bringing meaning to your actions, even in the smallest tasks. When clearing a table, leading a meeting, or helping a friend, ask yourself, how can I do this in the best way possible? And how can this benefit others? Positive impact is not about grandiosity, but about consistency. Small gestures can make a huge difference. Hold the door for someone, praise a colleague for their efforts, or simply smile. These acts, although they may seem insignificant, create a wave of positivity that spreads. Have you ever noticed how a simple thank you can transform someone's day? When you live with purpose, you realize that every interaction is an opportunity to plant seeds of kindness, inspiration, and transformation. Another important point is that living with purpose also means helping others discover theirs. Often, people around us don't see their own potential until someone encourages them. A practical example: if you have a friend who is talented at something, tell them so. Sometimes a simple phrase like, "You're amazing at this. Have you ever thought about taking this seriously?" It could be the push he needs to pursue a dream. Brian Tracy reinforces that by helping others grow, we grow too. Creating a positive impact is also about living with integrity and strong values. When your actions reflect your principles, you build a reputation of trust and respect. This applies to both personal and professional life. Imagine a businessman who not only seeks profit, but also cares about the well-being of his employees and customers. Not only is he financially successful, but he is also building a legacy of positive impact. Have you ever thought about how your daily actions reflect the legacy you want to leave? One of the best ways to live with purpose is to set a clear vision for your life. What do you want to achieve? Who do you want to become? And more importantly, how can it benefit others? Write down your goals and align them with greater impact. For example, if your goal is to open a business, think about how it can improve the lives of your customers and contribute to the community. It gives meaning to what you do and makes success that much more satisfying. Ultimately, living with purpose and excellence is about creating a cycle of inspiration. The more you live authentically, the more people around you feel encouraged to do the same. It's a domino effect of positivity and transformation. And in doing so, you not only shape your own life, but you also help build a better world. Now that we've explored this positive impact, it's time to end our journey with an inspiring and practical vision to apply it all to your life. It's time to do something with everything you've just learned. The question is, will you continue on autopilot, or will you start applying these concepts to transform your life? Everything we discussed, from adopting a winning mindset to facing fear and creating a positive impact, are within your reach, but only you can decide to use them. Think of everything you could achieve if you acted as if you no longer had rivals. Imagine waking up every day with confidence, purpose, and an unwavering determination to do your best, regardless of what others are doing. So now I ask you, what's holding you back? What is the fear or excuse you need to leave behind? Remember, no one but you can change your trajectory. Don't wait for a perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The time to act is now, while these ideas are still fresh in your mind and beating in your heart. How about taking a sheet of paper and writing down, right now, what your first step will be? It doesn't have to be something big. It could be a small habit, an initial goal, or a commitment to yourself. The important thing is to start. And what's more, don't keep this knowledge just to yourself. Share it with the ones you love. Be a living example of how it is possible to live with excellence and purpose. Remember that you can be the inspiration someone else needs to change too. And if you've made it this far, you've already taken the first step, investing in yourself. Now it's time to continue. If you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This way, you don't miss out on any new ideas to improve your life. And tell me in the comments, what will be your first step from today? I want to know how you will apply all of this and see your transformation happening. Remember, you were born to walk as if you had no rivals. Now it's up to you.